Hey guys, so summer is here and my roses are blooming, so I thought I would do a rose garden tour for my rose collections. So for this video, I'm recommending 5 of my favorite roses from my garden and I hope you like them too. So the first one I want to recommend, which is also one of my favorite, is called Eden. I first saw this rose in a spring garden tour and I just fell in love with it. So it is a climber rose. It has large old-fashioned flowers. The petals are very densely packed. It has a very light fragrance. I wouldn't say the fragrance is strong in any way. But what's unique about this rose is the color. The blooms are a blend of pastel pink in the center and a cream or even greenish petal on the outside, which I thought was very interesting. So as the flower bloom, the center will get unfolded and will become more pink. It's a repeat blooming variety, which means it will bloom throughout the year except for the winter. I have it on my garden arch and I'm hoping one day it will take it over entirely. Another variety in the Eden family is called White Eden, which I really love. It has the same look, but I would say it's more cottage garden because the color is lighter. And for the center of the flower, instead of a pink color, it's a very light blush color that I think is lovely. I'm trying to train it to grow on my exterior wall, but for now it's just a small bush. Okay, the number 2 on this list is called Earthy Angel. So unlike Eden, which has a strong appearance, Earthy Angel has a more low-key and subtle look. So the flower has a very soft romantic look and the color is more pink than orange. The bloom is shaped like a peony but smaller. The petals are packed in a very interesting way and you'll see more once they start to open up. So the plant itself doesn't get too large, but over time it will produce more flowers. Actually, for the first year, it only produced just a few flowers, and this year it's its 3rd year and it's having so many blooms that I'm really thrilled about. One thing to keep in mind is the stems are very thin, so as the bloom gets bigger, they tend to droop over a little bit. Just something to keep in mind. The scent is spectacular though, it has a very fresh and fruity note that I think you'll enjoy. Okay, so number 3 is Princess Charlene. So what's interesting about this rose is the petals are very ruffled, and the flower itself is more of an apricot color than pink. And I do think the blooms itself is quite large compared to other roses in my garden, and the bloom is also shaped like a cup. But what really made Princess Charlene stand out is the strong fragrance. It is probably the most fragrant rose I've ever had. Also, this rose has a very long vase life, so it's great to use as a cut flower. For this video, I'm doing a comparison of 3 of my roses in the garden and I want to test their vase life. So what I have here are Eden, Princess Charlene, and Earthy Angel. So you can see that Princess Charlene lasted for quite a long time and Eden lasted even slightly longer. Okay, moving on to number 4, which is called New Dawn. New Dawn is a prolific climber, and that's why I chose it for my garden pergola. I have it for almost 3 years. So in the summer, it produces so many blooms on top of my pergola, which I really love. And also, this rose grows pretty fast. I think it may grow faster than Eden, and it produces tons of small-sized light pink flowers, which I think is really lovely. The flower itself is not as large as Eden or Princess Charlene, but because it has so many flowers, so in the summer, when all the flowers are blooming, it is really impressive to look at. Number 5 is Moonlight in Paris. I have to admit that I chose this rose partially for the name, but it's still one of my top favorite roses because it's very productive, it forms the cluster of blooms, and it also grows really fast in my opinion. Also, it has a very nice fragrance. The flower is pretty large and generally it's a apricot color, but it has a yellow color center that I thought was interesting. Maybe that's where the Moonlight name is coming from. Now I want to slightly touch on how I maintain and care for my roses. So both my husband and I are very busy with work, meaning that we don't have a lot of time to take care of them or fertilize them. But here are a few things we want to make sure we do every season. Okay, so in the spring, I try to do some aphid control. Aphids are very attracted by the young rose shoots and buds. So to cope with that, I try to add some worm casting beforehand to deter the aphids. And I also do some hand removal as well, or just hose it with water. So in the summer, we try to add some organic liquid fertilizers, maybe a couple times in the summer, just so that the plant has enough nutrition to bloom from the spring all the way to the fall. And during this period, I also try to keep deadheading because you want the plant to reserve energies for more blooms instead of forming those rose hips. And in the winter, it's pretty simple. I usually just prune them to a manageable size, and also I try to feed them compost. I hope you enjoyed this little rose garden tour. If you do, make sure to leave a like and let me know what's your favorite roses. I'm really curious. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post home decor, garden, and DIY videos on a regular basis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.